Snow fell like shattered glass under the glow of the city's cold streetlights. The night wind cut through every layer of fabric, merciless and unrelenting. On the side of the deserted road, a young woman wrapped in an expensive but soaked coat struggled to move her frozen fingers. Her car had died an hour ago, her phone battery 30 minutes after that. Evelyn Sterling, daughter of billionaire hotel magnate Thomas Sterling, was alone, stranded and trembling, in the kind of cold that doesn't just bite, it numbs your soul. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who's listening. Her breath came out in visible puffs, little ghosts fading into the dark. She'd never felt fear like this, not in her father's marble mansion, not on private jets crossing oceans, but here, surrounded by silence and snow, she finally understood what it meant to be small. Evelyn hugged her knees and buried her face. The engine's faint ticking had stopped long ago. Somewhere in the distance, a stray dog barked once and vanished. Then, footsteps. At first, she thought it was the wind playing tricks. But the crunch of snow grew louder, steadier. Her heart raced. A shadow moved beneath a flickering lamppost. A figure shivering, wrapped in rags and carrying a torn backpack. He stopped a few feet away, hesitant. His face was young, maybe 20, maybe less, with eyes too kind for someone who had clearly seen too much hardship. "Are you okay?" he asked, voice rough but soft. Evelyn hesitated, pride clashing with panic. "My car. It won't start. My phone's dead." The boy nodded slowly, looking toward the luxury vehicle as if it belonged to another world. "There's an old shelter 2 blocks down. I can take you there. It's warm." "I can't," she whispered. "My father will send someone. He'll—" "Miss," the boy interrupted gently. "You'll freeze before he finds you." She wanted to argue, but her lips had turned blue. Her body shook uncontrollably. So when he extended a trembling hand, dirt-stained, rough and bare against the cold, she took it. Together they walked, the wind howling around them like an angry spirit. Evelyn's boots sank deep into the snow while the boy's torn sneakers soaked through. He noticed her shivering and, without hesitation, slipped off his thin jacket. "Don't," she protested. "You'll freeze." He smiled faintly. "I already have." That line. It haunted her for years after. When they reached the shelter, it was little more than a crumbling building with cardboard-covered windows. Inside, a small fire burned in a metal drum, casting orange light on a handful of faces. Other homeless souls huddled in silence. The boy led her to a dry corner, found a blanket, and handed her a tin mug of lukewarm soup. For the first time that night, she felt warmth. Not from the fire, but from the quiet dignity of those around her. No one stared at her designer coat. No one asked her name. They just accepted her. The boy sat beside her. "You can rest here. I'll keep the fire going." "What's your name?" she asked softly. "Eli." And that was all he said. Hours passed. The storm outside grew fiercer, but inside that broken shelter, Evelyn found something she'd never known. Peace. When morning came, light spilled through the cracks, painting golden lines on the floor. Evelyn turned to thank Eli, but he was gone. She searched the nearby streets, calling his name, but only the wind answered. All she found was his jacket, the one he had draped over her shoulders, folded neatly beside her. She thought she'd never see him again. She was wrong. A week later, Evelyn stood beside her father at a charity event. A gala meant to showcase Sterling Hotel's new Winter Warmth Initiative. Hundreds attended, the city's elite mingling beneath chandeliers and champagne. But Evelyn wasn't listening to speeches or music. Her eyes searched the crowd, haunted by the memory of that night. After the event, she slipped away into the back corridors, drawn by instinct more than thought. There, near the service entrance, she heard a voice, one she recognized instantly. "Excuse me, sir," Eli was saying to a security guard. I just wanted to return this. Someone left it near the old shelter. It's got her initials on it. E.S. Evelyn's heart stopped. She stepped forward. Eli. He turned, surprise washing over his face. You're okay. I'm more than okay, she breathed. You saved my life. He shook his head. I just did what anyone would have done. No, she said firmly. Most people wouldn't. Not in that storm. Not for a stranger. Her father arrived just then, his voice booming. Evelyn, who is this? She looked at Eli, then back at her father. And in that moment, something inside her changed. The walls of privilege, of indifference, began to crumble. This, she said softly, is the reason I'm still alive. The room fell silent. Her father's eyes softened as he studied the thin young man standing humbly before him. Without another word, Thomas Sterling extended his hand. Son, he said, how would you like a job? Eli's eyes widened. A job? You've got courage, Thomas said, and my company could use more of that. The applause that followed wasn't loud, but it was real. Years later, long after that fateful night, a Sterling Foundation shelter stood on the same street where Evelyn had once been stranded. A bronze plaque by the door read, In honor of Eli, who gave warmth when the world was cold. Evelyn visited often, sometimes alone, sometimes with her father, and every winter as snow fell like a silent hymn, she remembered that boy who gave her his only jacket and disappeared into the storm. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits and it finds its way back. And sometimes it returns as a fire in the heart that no winter can ever extinguish. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a little warmth today. And tell us in the comments, have you ever met someone whose kindness changed your life? Whispered words.